on the channel, we're buzzing into another unboxing, this time with the Mondo Masters of the Universe Buzz Off.
And the spirit of Ultimate Warrior will run forever!
Welcome everyone, Kyle here, and welcome back to the channel for another Mondo Masters of the Universe unboxing and review. And today on the channel, we got the Heroic Spy, we got Buzz Off. But for all your Buzz Off needs, Mondo, timed edition, so most likely eBay, but there is some Mondo stuff available, of course, at Entertainment Earth. Use the link in the description down below to support the channel. And of course, going to do this review like we do all the other reviews on the channel. We're going to take a look at the packaging, we're going to talk about it. We're going to unbox it. We're going to talk about it. We're going to see where it goes from there. And a little bit of delay with this Buzz Off. I think it was supposed to be here maybe 2 or 3 months ago. I guess good things come to those that wait, something like that. But it sounds like the Tarif's Todd McFarlane getting over onto Mondo there, as we've seen a lot of delays as of late. But we do got Buzz Off here, and we're going to dive into it. We're going to see, dare I say, what all the fuss is about. So without further ado, let's dive into the packaging on old Buzz Off. There he is, buzzing around there. More of a 2000X look on this one here than the standard, of course, from back in the day. And a lot of people like myself, that's where I came into Buzz Off. And I always enjoyed Buzz Off, always enjoyed his figure when I was a kid in my playing days. A lot of fun around Buzz Off. You got that Mondo seal down there looking good. Masters of the Universe Buzz Off deluxe figure over here. Looking very good. And what's it say? 1/6 scale. Nothing too wild over there. Same thing on this side, nothing too wild. And we do get a little bit of blurbage back here. Let's see what it says about our friend Buzz Off. The Heroic Spy in the Sky, just like all these bees buzzing around. One of He-Man's most valuable weapons, this powerful winged hero provides airborne reconnaissance for the Masters of the Universe. But this super spy does more than just fly high. With a stunning sting from his lance or axe, the fearless Buzz Off is ready to stop Skeletor and his evil warriors at every turn. One of He-Man's most valuable weapons. That reads kind of weird. He's a person. He's a bee-man. Come on, he's more than just a weapon. And then, of course, on the inside, you get a nice glamour shot. And then we do get the beautiful figure in there all locked together. Of course, the power of magnets compel us Mondo style there, as does all locked together with the power of magnets once again. And we're going to pull it out of the box. We're going to whip out our bee is what we're going to do. And there's a lot of stuff going on. Typical Mondo fashion here. A lot going on. Ooh, we get wings. We get all kinds of stuff going on in here. We got the stand. And then, oh, this is a flight stand? What is this? I guess we'll dive into it here in a second. And then we got Buzz Off right there. So I'm going to take this offline, though. I'm going to get all this out of the package. We'll be back talking to that Heroic Spy, Buzz Off. All right, we got Buzz Off out of the package. Let's dive in. Let's start with the hands and move our way through the accessories here. We got the classic pincher hands here on a ball joint there. Almost like a lobster is what it reminds me of. Of course, him and Clawful sharing some parts once upon a time. But you do got the movement right there looking very nice. Very cool pincher hands there. Very classic Buzz Off. Got some big old splayed out hands, deep splayed out hands. Out of the package, a little tighter splayed out hands. So differences on the splayed outness of the hands there. And then probably the one a lot of people are going to use, or at least one of them, is the gripping hands right here. He has all these weapons. You want to be able to grip onto those, of course. So we do got those hands going on. Now we do get a stand. We always get a stand with these Masters figures from Mondo. This one a little bit different. It's almost like a screw. You screw it in right there. It's got some of that cording, very, very thick. A little bit of bend to it, not tons of bend, but you do got a little bend to it right in there. It's kind of nerve-wracking, but it almost feels like it should be bendy wire, but it's not quite traditional bendy wire. And then you do got the clasp right here around the waist. So maybe it's kind of, you can get a little bit of movement out of him as far as a flight stand is kind of what it looks like, but it is definitely different than our traditional Mondo stands. They're usually a little bit smaller down here and they kind of fit. This one's got a lot more tightness to it here, a little thicker. So maybe this is the new way they're going. We'll see with that. But we do get the stand going there. We got a big shield here. And we got the Queen Bee, I think is what that is on the front. You got the handle on the back right here, but nice big old shield here. You got kind of that honeycomb. Is that what it's called? Is it honeycomb, Todd? Todd doesn't know. I don't know either, but you do got some of that pattern there. Reminds you of a bee, and I have to imagine that is the queen bee right in there, of course. Diving into some of this, it looks like he's ready to do some jousting is what this looks like. Is he going to hop on a horse and go to medieval times and knock somebody off? I guess he'll do it from the sky is what he's going to do here, but very cool looking here. You got that golden color going on. You got the brown in the handle. You got the pendant on the end, a little sharp there. Big sharp blade on the end, very sharp actually on the end of that. So we do got that one there. And then we got a big old axe. Swing of the axe is what he's got. Once again, you got the sharp spear on the end down here. And then you got the double bladed axe. You got some of that bee graphics there, almost translucent like plastic. And then you got like a beehive at the top, which is interesting. Why are you putting a beehive at the top of this? Then you got a spear through there as well. The big old axe for Buzz Off if he needs it. And then a more classic weapon with him, the smaller axe, got the knuckle duster on the front. Looking very good. Once again, you get some of that gold, that bronze, gray, a little bit of distress in here, a little dirty wash over the top. It's seen some days in battle, it seems like there. So we do get the axe. Now, we do get two different sets of wings. Now, he does got the plugins in the back. So you get the bigger wings at the top, smaller wings at the bottom. Obviously, a guy like Buzz Off, you got to have some wings so you can fly around. Once again, very much bee-like, I guess, with that honeycomb, whatever you want to call it inside there. You do get the articulation on the wings, as you would expect with this one. Does kind of look like wires and stuff. Very technological is what it is, and that's always the fun of Masters Universe. You get like the olden times with the sword and sorcery, but then you get technology mixed in with it. We're seeing that in these wings here, and we're seeing it in the second set of wings. Once again, a little bit smaller set of wings on this one. But both look really, really good. Obviously, you're probably going to be a little careful with these, but they are hinged on there and they plug into the back of Buzz Off, of course. But now we're going to dive into Buzz Off and we're going to start with the heads. We got 4 total heads for Buzz Off right here. And I guess, what do we call this head here? Is it more 2000X styling? I guess, I don't know. Or maybe I guess it's the modern take is what it is from Mondo here. You got the antennas up there at the top looking very good. Be careful with those. Nobody wants to break those off. You get those crazy eyes. You got the slits in the eye and a little bit of tealish blue kind of color. You got the brown on the face, then right around, or brown on the head and around the face, you got the yellow color. You got a little bit of teeth poking through there as well. Almost looks like he's sleeping is what it looks like there. But it is look like a bee man, as is Buzz Off, of course. Now, second head here, you get the big winged helmet head. Once again, you got the antennas on the top, or I guess not even antennas. They're little like claws. It almost looks like little hands coming out of his head. You got those teeth showing once again, but you do got the helmeted head here, of course. Goes back to the original Buzz Off character with the helmet you could put on and off. So we do get that head. Third head here, we got an angry head. He's got a little bit more teeth showing. This is a ferocious, dare I say, a killer bee is what this one is right here. Now, unfortunately, not a big Striper fan, Buzz Off. You would assume, I know, right, Todd? But not a big Striper fan, Buzz Off here, is he's rocking the brown and yellow attack, and we know Striper is the black and yellow attack. So I don't know if he just doesn't like Christian metal. I guess that's probably what it gets down to. He's probably a Satanist, this Buzz Off right here. And you would think that with this crazy head, this mean old head right there. And then the last head we got here, a little bit more laid back. You got a little bit of fangs going on. It looks like his eyes are closed. You got those antennas or those claws, whatever you want, saying down. Just a little bit more sleepy head on this one. So none of the heads really knock me over as usual. I might just stick with the one out of the package. Maybe the mean head is where I'll go. But I also like the helmeted head. So gonna have to make a decision. What? I should buy 5 of them and get one on card and then have 4 different looks? Oh, that's Todd McFarlane money talking right there. That's Todd McFarlane money. That's not Kyle money. That's not Kyle money. But definitely good head sculpts on this one here. Now, he does got a little collar going on, of course. If he's going to be welcomed into Club Grayskull, he's got to have that collar. Got the dirty wash on it there, looking good. Some shoulder protection. Always got to protect those shoulders, of course. Got those spikes up on there. Those do move out of the way for articulation, which is nice. Got that big vest, or I guess just chest on him. Yellow and brown attack, looking very good. Utility belt around there. Of course, the Buzz Off Championship belt. He's been defending that bad boy since the 80s is what I'm understanding. You got some saddlebags bolted in there. They're sculpted in. There's no movement to that. He's got a little bee skirt there. You got to protect your junk. Even if you're a bee, you got to protect yourself down there as well. But looking good, all things considered there. Now, getting into the arms here, you got more of that kind of almost like clawful. Once again, obviously they share a lot of parts over the years, but you got the bony spikes coming out of there, nice brown color down into the pincher-like hands, of course. And then down to the legs, you get some more of that coming out of the thighs as well. Down into the shins, you got some shin guards going on right down here. And this looks Pittsburgh Pirates style shin guards. Nope, once again, that's black and yellow, so I don't know what this is. I guess it's got to be Benito Santiago, San Diego Padres edition right here with the yellow and brown. I don't know what else it could be out there. Shout out Tony Gwynn, am I right? He wasn't a catcher, but we always got to shout out Tony Gwynn. But looking good down here in the shin guards. Then down to the feet, you got, I guess, 4 toes down here. 2 big toes, 2 little toes going on. Definitely an interesting look. 2025 Mattel Mondo on the bottom of the feet as well. Articulation, arms do go all the way around. Once again, those shoulder guards do get out of the way. Bicep cut, single jointed elbow, side to side, back and forth. Hands back and forth, side to side, removable. Head removable, back and forth, side to side. Dumbbell up top, a little bit of waist, not a ton of movement there. I will say the arms are smooth like butter. It reminds me a lot of Thundercats Lion-O Mondo figure from last year. That was a very smooth figure. A lot of smoothness on this one so far, at least. Legs, a little bit, very tight. Not a ton of movement in the leg department on this one. Really can't go hardly anywhere. It's almost like a statue. You get a little bit of out, a little bit of up, but not a ton of movement out of that. Double jointed, pinless knees, you know I'm here for that. And once again, very smooth in the articulation. A little bit of boot cut. Ankles, back forth, side to side, up and down. I guess our usual Mondo articulation here. Always walking the fine line between action figure and statue. Some of it moves around really well. The head and the arms and the shoulders and the hands move very well. But the lower half, extremely tight. Not a ton of movement on this one here. Now, I might heat it up, see if that moves anything. But really not a ton of movement on Buzz Off. I mean, you get a little bit, but you're not going to get some Spider-Man style articulation with this one. It's just not in the cards, unfortunately, there. So Buzz Off, not bad, though, as we're building out via Mondo all the teams, all the sub-teams, all that kind of stuff. And man, it's crazy to think how many figures they still have to make from Mondo. I don't know if they'll make them all, but can we imagine a Ram Man? Can we imagine, King Hiss, things like that? I don't know. There's a lot of road to go with this line, and it'll be interesting to see where it goes. It'll be interesting to know if we have space for all these figures as well. I think next up on the docket is Evil Lynn, but once again, she was delayed, I think, till October. So we'll wait and see on that. I'm still waiting for They Live Roddy Piper. I'm waiting for Mum-Ra. There's a lot of different figures from Mondo we're waiting for. Of course, Swiftwind, if you ordered, once again, I didn't order Swiftwind. I had to bow out. I couldn't afford the $1,000. My wife said we needed a washer and dryer, and I had to listen to her. So it was washer and dryer, clean clothes, or Swiftwind. And now if it was Battle Cat and He-Man, I would have said, you know what? Maybe we can get a clothing line in the backyard. We can kind of do that, and we can wash in the sink maybe. But for Swiftwind and She-Ra, I said I'm just going to have to let one go, unfortunately, and that's what I have to do. Maybe in the future I'll get a deal. We'll see what ends up happening there. But Buzz Off, not a bad piece of business here. A bit ancillary, not going to be for everybody. Let's be honest, it's not He-Man, it's not Skeletor, it's not Teela, it's not Evil Lynn. So I can see a lot of people passing on this one. But if you're all in and you're going to build that world and you got Manny Faces coming like I do, you need guys like Buzz Off in the collection. And not a bad piece of business right here today. But what say you? Yes, you sitting on the couch right there or in your car, wherever you're doing. Let me know your thoughts on the Heroic Spy Buzz Off in the comments down below. Don't forget to like this video. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Turn on the old notification bell. We got videos every single day and then some. We got even more content for you, of course, over there on Patreon and YouTube channel memberships if you need some more. SirPaul64 on the X, _Kyle_Peterson on Threads, Instagram, TikTok, and TheKylePetersonShow at gmail.com, which conveniently enough is the email to my podcast each and every single Tuesday, The Kyle Peterson Show, available wherever podcasts are found with videocast on YouTube. So for Buzz Off and Mondo, I'm Kyle. See you guys all real soon.
Well, are we gonna dance or are we gonna play?